Hey, 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 you're waking up with Craig. Good morning out there. It's Wednesday, November 14th. I hope everybody has a safe drive to work today and I hope everybody has a great day. We're going to start with our morning quote as usual. Adversity causes some men to break, others to break records. William Arthur Ward. Peyton Manning, they said his arm wasn't strong enough. He couldn't throw the deep ball. He just threw for 55 touchdowns, the most in a season. Adam Thielen, a player no school wanted, only player to ever record 100 receiving yards or more in the first 8 games of a season. Tom Brady, drafted 199th overall, a backup QB with 230 wins, the most ever. Those are record setters. Those are record breakers. Those are guys we are going to remember. Guys that aren't setting records, my man Le'Veon Bell, because he didn't show up, and because he didn't show up, he ain't playing this season. But I'll tell you why it doesn't matter, because James Conner is a stud. I love this kid from the get-go. His story and how he battled cancer and fought through chemo and everything he went through to get drafted by Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a backup. He learned from Le'Veon. And I'm going to tell you, his stats are like Le'Veon's. Bell last year ran for 86.1 yards per game and had 11 touchdowns. Conner is averaging 85.7 yards per game and is already at 11 touchdowns. James Conner is a stud. He's athletic. And he's got a story where he's just someone you want to root for. He's one of those guys that you would go to war with. He's someone who is so respectful and honored because of everything he has gone through. And I love the story and I love the message. But there's something I gotta say. There is a message I gotta give you, my audience. Boy, how about them Red Sox? They are the World Series champions. Alex Cora, my man, 108 wins in the regular season. Way to get it done. But he had some studs. The question is, what stud are we going to keep for next year? Who is the most important free agent to sign? Is it Steve Pearce, the MVP of the World Series? Is it Evaldi, the man who threw more innings than anyone thought he could, and he just kept throwing and throwing, and he threw gas. My man was hitting 3-digit numbers left and right. And Kimbrel, his postseason wasn't great, I get that, but he's still one of the best closers in the game, and some of those are hard to find. So what do you do, and who do you keep? Let's start with my man Pearce. Now, Pearce is a tough one, because we got Moreland at first, and JD even said next year he could play a little bit of first base, so we got that lefty-righty duo. I like Pearce, and if we can keep him for not too much money, I'd love to keep him. I'd love to have an extra bat, give Moreland days off, and even play sometimes over Moreland, or you give JD some time off, and even if, maybe put all three in the lineup and just have some home runs. I mean, that'd be a great time to bet on the over, huh? Now, Kimbrel, he struggled in the postseason. I'm not a fan of giving him big money. I get it. Closers are hard to come by, and he's one of the best. But he wasn't one of the best when the game mattered. Yes, he didn't blow saves or anything in the postseason, but he didn't come in with a one-run game, and it looked like every time I turned on the TV, he was giving up a solo home run. Now, if he would have came in a one-run game, what would have happened? So that brings me to Evaldi. I think that's the guy we got to keep. Because rumor is the Yankees are going to go after him and go after him hard. And they got some money to play with and give it to him. I think we got to go keep Evaldi. And you know what? If Kimbrel has to walk, if we get enough starters, Evaldi could close sometimes, especially in the postseason. I mean, he closed the game and threw 95 pitches to do so. He throws gas, and, he's a winner. He is someone that just went out there and won. We'll have Sale back. Price is starting to grow on me a little bit, and I love Purcello and Erod. So Evaldi could even close, relief, whatever we need him to do. He's kind of that type of guy. I think he is someone that we have to keep. He's a guy that I want to lead my team. Now, if we're going to talk about leading teams, let's talk about the NFL. Because it is that time of the year. The MVP discussion starts to roll. Who is your MVP right now? And feel free to leave a comment below this podcast to let me know your thoughts on your MVP. Every year you're going to have, of course, Tom Brady in the discussion, Drew Brees in the discussion. But let's go outside those names. Who is it? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Jared Goff? Is it Todd Gurley? Or some defensive player out there? Let's start with Patrick Mahomes. I'll start there. I mean, that man threw for 10 touchdowns in the first 3 games, which tied the most ever. He's a stud. He can sling it. I like the kid out of Texas Tech. I mean, he's a baller. He's a gamer. He's someone that you call a true gamer. He goes out there and wins. But most valuable player, I think it gets confused a lot of times with the best stats or the best highlight films. I don't think that's where, I think who's the most valuable player? If you remove that person from your team, how would your team how would your team deal, you know? You got Kareem Hunt, who last year led the league in rushing yards for like the first 8 weeks. You got Travis Kelce, who is probably the best tight end in the National Football League right now. Tyreek Hill, the cheetah man, that man can run. And Sammy Watkins, he's starting to play a lot better, honestly, since he's come to Kansas City. You got weapons. You got guys that can ball out. And not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes. I love the guy. I love to tune in and see what he's up to. Throwing it left-handed first downs, 70-yard touchdowns in the air. But honestly, Patrick Mahomes isn't the only reason they're doing so well. So he doesn't get my vote. Jared Goff. I'm not going to lie. He went to Cal. He played. And, you know, he fits that West Coast type of style, you know? That golden boy. He's playing well out there. I'm going to give it to him. But same thing, man. Robert Woods is playing out of his mind. Brandon Cooks is a stud. Come on, New England. What'd you give him up for? A first rounder? Man, that man's a baller. And honestly, Cooper Kupp, he's starting to turn into a guy. I know he just got hurt. Best wishes to my man. But Todd Gurley, you got that, man. Wow, anybody could work with that. And don't get me wrong, Jared Goff, he's making great throws and he's being a signal caller. I get that. But you got the guru play Madden on NFL Sundays, Sean McVay, in your ear. Come on, man. I like you, Jared Goff. But, bro, you ain't my MVP. My MVP is the man I just said. Todd Gurley. With all those receivers, the reason why they're so open, yeah, they're good route runners. Yeah, they're fast and athletic. But Todd Gurley, you got to put 8 guys in the box. Forget 7, 8 guys. You put all 11 in there, Todd Gurley going to run all over you. Todd Gurley is a baller. He's on my fantasy team in one of my leagues. He has 285 fantasy points through the first 9 weeks. That's the most since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. And guess what? LT, he won the MVP that year. My man Todd Gurley is the MVP of the Rams because they would not have the capability to run all these plays and all these trick plays and do everything they can without Todd Gurley. And you know what? If they have a touchdown lead, the game's over because Todd Gurley gonna shove it down your throat every time he can. And don't get me wrong, Brady's up there, Drew Brees is up there. But if we're talking about Todd Gurley, for the first time ever, it might be the best stat leader. But every time, that's who we pick. It's about the guy that if you take away from their team, they're not the same. Not the best stat leader. Most valuable player. That's my man, Todd Gurley. And I'm glad he ain't going to get hurt by playing in Mexico because they moved it back to L.A. I guess Goodell heard this podcast. Thanks, brother. Now, let's talk about the game of the night. I love college basketball this time of year. 18 Michigan versus 8 Villanova. I hate Michigan in football. I love them in basketball. When they had Mo Wagner, he was a stud. And I just hate Villanova. I hate them so much. I hate the coach. I hate all of those guys. Don't get me wrong, they're good. That's part of the reason why I hate them. But I just don't like them. You know I'm a Dookie through and through. I bleed that blue and white. And I hope Michigan takes them down tonight. But don't get me wrong, this is going to be a great game. And these are going to be teams that you could see in the Sweet 16 or later in the year. But it's early in the year, and we're going to find out what these teams are made of. And I think that this game tonight is going to be close. I truthfully believe Villanova is probably going to pull away at the end, but you never know with some of that Michigan magic. Now, there's something I got to let you guys know. Tomorrow is the first time ever I'm going to have a guest on my show. Bo Norcross, a longtime Packers fan, is going to join the show, and he is going to talk about the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks matchup. The Packers are 4-1, and yes, this late in the year, they are the 3 seed in the NFC North. Usually they'd be the 3 seed in the NFC or even higher. What is going on in Green Bay? Bo's going to talk about Mike McCarthy, and should he still be the head coach? Aaron Rodgers, and are they wasting his years? And yes, we are going to have the number 12 debate. Is it Aaron Rodgers or is it Tom Brady for the greatest quarterback of all time? Tomorrow, you got to tune in and let me know what you think of Bo Norcross giving his insight on the Packers-Seahawks matchup. Now, there's something I got to tell you about Bo. He has some hot takes, and we love that on this show. We love the hot takes. But I don't know if I've ever heard anything hotter than something that he said the other day. It happened actually probably about 3 weeks ago, and I want to get this perfectly right so you all understand how crazy this hot take was. My man Bo said Aaron Rodgers has done more for Green Bay than Tom Brady will ever do for New England. Oh my God, Bo. Man, I love this man like a brother. But Tom Brady, 5 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers just won. Now, I won't even get into the debate of who's the greatest number 12 of all time. We'll leave that for tomorrow because I got to hear Bo's take firsthand. But I want you all to just think about what you just heard. Replay it a few times if you need to. I didn't even believe it when I heard it at first. And tune in tomorrow to see Bo's response to his comments. Now, the one big thing we got to talk about today, the Cleveland Browns. 3 wins this year, and I'm not going to lie, I like Greg Williams, and he's a great D coordinator, and I like what he's doing there. He's the interim head coach, and honestly, I hope they actually give him a chance to be the full-time head coach. Cleveland, though. Baker, Jarvis Landry, they got Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, 98-yard touchdown run. Keep balling, boy. Georgia got some good running backs out there. Gurley, Chubb, but let's be real. The Browns are on the rise. They got draft picks. They got some future ahead of them. I'll tell you a team that's just not on the rise. Come on, what are you doing, Cincinnati Bengals? Why is Marvin Lewis still there? It's been like 15 years, man, and no playoff wins. Andy Dalton, he's an okay quarterback. He probably should have got a win by now, but Marvin Lewis is just not a good coach. And then they fire the defensive coordinator. And what do? They give Marvin Lewis the D coordinator job. This man couldn't run the head coaching position. Now you give him 2 jobs to suck at. What are you doing, Cincy? And you know what they did? They thought, wow, Marvin Lewis ain't a good coach, but we're going to keep him here, give him an extension, and we're going to get him some help at coach. All right, that's all right. Go get him like a veteran coach. Get him someone who knows how to win. At least give him that. All right. We're going to go get him Hugh Jackson. Man, what are you all doing up there in Cincy? Hugh Jackson hasn't won more than 3 games in 2 years. And you're going to go give Marvin Lewis, the loser of all losers, the even bigger loser, Hugh Jackson. Are you kidding me? Come on, Cincy. What you doing now? That's crazy. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. Cincinnati Bengals, man, you started so good. You were like 3-1 or 4-1. But what are you now? 4-3, 5-4. You just lost 51-14 at home against the Saints. And I know the Saints are better than you. But seriously, 37 points better. Are you kidding me? So what you decide to do, you thought it would be best to fire your defensive coordinator. I thought, you know what? Cincy, that was about the best thing you could have done. But then you followed it up by the worst possible thing you could have done. You went and gave Marvin Lewis a defensive coordinator job. Wow. Cincy, you were on your way to be the new Browns. And to help you do it, you got the man who knows how to lose the best, Hugh Jackson. I think you deserve a round of applause. Congratulations, Cincy. You guys are gonna suck. No playoff wins. Marvin Lewis was gonna retire or at least resign, and I thought you guys were gonna be on the up and up coming into this year. And you signed Marvin Lewis back, and I can't even believe it. Some of the NFL teams, let's talk about some of them. The Jets with Todd Bowles and Sam Darnold ain't good. I saw him play the Vikings firsthand, and he threw 3 picks, fumbled. There were receivers he missed by 10, 15, one ball even 20 yards. And I get there was some wind, but it was no hurricane out there. That ball was awful that Sam Darnold was throwing around. The Bills, I don't even have time for that. The Cardinals, I mean, you got David Johnson and Josh Rosen. Oh my man, if you're gonna say after a draft that 9 teams are gonna wish they didn't pass on you, then at least play like somewhat good. Like, man, if I had to give you a test grade right now, you get like a 30%. Maybe not even that high, man. Win some games. You got Larry Fitz. You got David Johnson. Patrick Peterson. And I don't even think this is Steve Wilkes' fault, but he's probably going to lose his job because they ain't going to get rid of Rosen. But come on now. The Raiders, I'm going to apologize to the Raiders, actually. Yes, they suck this year, but I'm going to give John Gruden a chance. This is what I'm going to do for John Gruden. He's got 3 years, including this one, because he traded away Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, some other guys, and he got picks. He's got like 4 first-round picks or whatever it is coming up. So he's going to be able to draft them next year. That's year 2. When they're all in their sophomore year, all those rookies, then that's the year that I'm truly going to grade him. Because he's some quarterback guru, and Derek Carr is a decent quarterback, so he needs to show me that he's a quarterback guru. I get it. They're playing from behind a lot and can't run the offense he wants, so let's get him to get the defense he needs. He's got 3 years to prove it to me. Now, we're going to get more into the NFL tomorrow when Bo joins the show. Please don't forget and please tune in. Also, tomorrow, if you have any questions you would like me to ask Bo, if you have any things you would like me to talk about on the show or any show, please write in the comments, and I promise to mention it on the show, and I appreciate it. Please subscribe to the show, and I hope everybody tunes into the game of the day tonight, and honestly, tune in tomorrow, because Bo, Packers fan, me, a Vikings fan, going at it like crazy tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and remember, keep on balling.